Hi Abrar, and welcome again to Startup Network to Unicorn Battles. We're actually preparing for the next in our this season to one of the brightest events, the Unicorn Cup, which is actually I would tell you like brings a lot of at the same time like positive emotions, and still we're to be honest a bit maybe like there is a trepidation inside because we're so. Um, Probably we're a bit not worried, but there is like this nice feeling actually for preparing for the Unicorn Cup. As far as I know, you were in the finals. Did you have like this kind of feeling inside when you were preparing for your pitching at the finals? And how was it? Please share your feedback.
Yeah, absolutely, Maria. Thank you so much for having me. The overall experience with the startup network has been really good. Specifically, each event I participated in, I met some very good mentors and the judges. We connected with them afterwards via LinkedIn and other sources. And one of them were I remember, from Plug and Play Tech Centers, and they basically ended up soft committing for a 100K investment into our company after hearing our pitch and what we were doing. So the overall experience with the entire event was really good. I mean, we won the Startup Network Unicorn Cup in Prague, then went on to compete in the finals in Silicon Valley, and there were all these companies, like later stage companies, which already had revenue, and they were raising Series A and Series B. But we came up above average when competing with all of these companies, and I think we held up our own really good.
Awesome. In that case, what can you tell? How was it? How much was it exciting, and how was it like at that time? Was it like pretty hard at the finals, or already you kind of felt that this is, as far as you mentioned, the your final result was even better? Were you expecting such kind of result, or how did you feel that at that time?
I felt relatively good at that time. I mean, it was taxing, like 3 days consecutively. It was broken down into like Americas and Middle Eastern and Africa and in Asian region. We have to be online on all 3 days, pitching for all the three events. It was taxing, it was tiring, but at the same time, it was rewarding. The feedback we got from the judges and mentors were really good. One of the things that stood out was that people were overall very supportive in new ideas, because our technology leverages blockchain and biometrics. It's new, it's unproven, it's being tested right now, but at the same time people realize how elegant the solution is, and it can solve a lot of problems. So that kind of thing is rare in people in the events like this.
I'll tell you, from my perspective, it's really interesting all the time because from my background as well, dealing with a lot of blockchain projects, I'm really all the time feeling interest in what project did you present at that time and how was it? And I would like also to share more of the details. Which feedback did you get during the Unicorn Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think to start off, I need to tell how I started on this journey,
Hmm.
because that shows the people our commitment and our conviction to actually take this forward. This entire venture, this entire company, this entire project is a tribute to my brother who passed away from liver cancer in 2016. And it was actually during his treatments when we realized how difficult it is to send health information to and from hospitals. Like many times we were taken to the hospital and the doctors could not treat him immediately because they had no idea what drugs were already in his system. And when they could not get his medical records on time, they would end up overdosing him on certain drugs. A lot of medical errors were made because of lack of health data, because of lack of his health data, which led to his early demise. After he passed away, I went on a mission to try to find out why is it so difficult to send health information to and from hospitals. If we can send a tweet to millions of people around the world, why is it so difficult to send health information to hospitals and patients? We realized that there are two major problems for this. One is the patient identity, like identifying patients correctly, and the other one is the information blockage by the hospitals and the clinics and the healthcare providers. And when we were actually working on the solution, it took us 3 years to get to a solution. And when we first iterated on the solution, it was very much like a blockchain network, which we already had built in 2017. And we realized, now, why are we reinventing the wheel? Why don't we use the out of the box blockchain solutions like Hyperledger, Corda, and Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and all that? And we decided to use Hyperledger at that time because it was permission blockchain, which creates a secure network between all these healthcare stakeholders like hospitals, insurance companies, patients. All of them will be able to share information, health information, among themselves. And then we added biometrics. Now when you arrive at any hospital, they just have to scan your eyes or your fingerprints or your facial recognition or your facial expressions, facial features, to identify you, and then get your medical information from anywhere in the world through that network. So that was a solution we proposed.
You mentioned that you actually got really nice feedback at the time from the jury. Can you tell us more, which, for example, in this case, the most valuable for you connection did you get? What is maybe the most valuable advice which helped probably your business to grow and to go further?
Yeah, absolutely. So at that time, I think there was another challenge which happens related to COVID and around healthcare. And when we were pitching to the judges about what we had built, and they came up and said, Abrar, this is not just about healthcare anymore. What you are building, add a temperature sensor to it, like contactless fever detection for the healthcare providers and the staff members which are working at the facilities. And you have something for all the essential industries, not just healthcare, but also logistics, food, airports, banking, everywhere where people have to be physically present to do their job, and they need to be pre-screened for COVID symptoms. You can basically apply that. And it is a perfect alternative to fingerprint identification, because fingerprint identification and attendance systems have been suspended and even banned because they risk spreading the contagion due to physical contact. And we're doing all of that with the iris scans, with the person's eye scan, without any human intervention or contact. So that was a piece where we said, this is an interesting thing. And we decided to actually implement that. And that got us a pilot project in Chicago afterwards.
So are you now in Chicago?
No, right now I'm in Dubai. But we have
you-
secured pilot projects. Yeah, we have secured project in Canada and in Chicago.
I see. That's interesting. In this case, for me, to be honest, like from as one of the event organizers, for me, one of the things which I really find valuable is really when we can somehow help to bring you, like, to connect the people with whom you would like to need to be connected. So in this case, to be honest, I'll tell you, like, this is for me a really interesting story. Can you tell me, was it like exciting when you the first time found out about the unicorn battles? Like, how are you getting excited about participating in pitching events, or is it exciting for you?
It is exciting, but by nature I'm competitive, so I like going head to head with other companies and trying to compare what we are missing when it comes to raising capital, getting revenue, and securing more customers and scaling up and growing. What are the things which are other companies doing which we are lacking, which we need to look into? And these kind of competitions give us that kind of insight into other people's business models, and if there is a business model better than what we have already, and we should look into that as well. So that is always a good thing to learn, and these kind of events and competitions actually provide. And when I saw that this was happening globally, like Startup Network had operations in the Europe with the EIT Health being part of the program and the Middle East and then the North American and South American markets, I was like, okay, we should definitely become part of this so that it gives us a global reach.
For example, if there would be like another season, and if, for example, would you be like, you haven't participated yet, would you like to participate again? And for example, what piece of recommendation of what piece of advice would you give yourself before going to the next season and participating as well in the finals?
I would. So I've been looking at different startup network unicorn battles. Like one there was about the COVID and the healthcare, and then there's now happening for fintech and AI also. And I was just thinking now there should be, like, if there is going to be a next health tech or healthcare, we should participate in that instead of the like overall, because I mean, there are a lot of industries and a lot of great companies out there which are working in many different verticals.
Mhm.
But since our focus is on healthcare, we should go after the ones which have all the healthcare startups. That would be much more focused for us, and only focus on that, not all the things, because we don't have to do everything all at once. We have to also focus on the customer acquisition and other parts of the business, not just pitching and getting feedback.
Can you tell me as well, do you like now, are you using now connections which you got during Unicorn Cup, Unicorn Battles?
I keep them updated. I send out quarterly updates to the. I've added them to my list, and I send them quarterly updates, and I keep them informed about the happenings of the what we're doing and how much progress we have made. And we are working towards a partnership. So, for example, with Plug and Play and other VCs, we're trying to get them on board on a term which suits us all on investing into the company.
Can you tell me, are they like willing, like as well in this case, to contact you and at some point help you with the advice or etc.? Uh, how is it going right now?
Oh yes, they do provide the advice, especially when I send out the update. They say, "Oh, congratulations," and I tag them on LinkedIn as well from time to time with news updates. Like for example, right now we were recently nominated as the most innovative health and well-being solution from UAE at the World Summit Awards 2020,
Mhm.
and they were really happy for that and said, "Okay, we would definitely should catch up." But because of COVID, everything has slowed down a bit. People have other things they have to take care of and other responsibilities. So that kind of, go around and turning around and coming back with studying over time and all that. It's it has gotten a bit slow because of that.
Understood. Tell me, Abrar, taking into account like already your participation, are you first of all waiting like to watch who will be participating in our next final Unicorn Cup finals? Would you like
Who
to
would be
see?
participating?
Yes. Would you like to see, for example, your potential? I would say, for example, in health tech as well, health tech vertical, your probably some competitors.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, sure. It doesn't matter if anyone else is competing or not. If I'm competing, the competition doesn't matter to me. I mean, if I'm going in to compete and pitch someone, it doesn't matter what the other companies are bringing in. I'm gonna do my thing anyways.
But
Does that
what
answer your question?
Yeah, I understand. But is it like, would you like, for example, like to watch, or for you, one of the most important thing is to pitch and to participate? Or sometimes are you interested, like just to watch and see, or like potentially are you competitors? You're not like already rivals at the pitch, but like just to have a look at who are like the new in the startup battles, in the unicorn battles.
Sort of like spectate the entire event without being part of the event. Is
Yes,
that what you're asking?
yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I have the opportunity to do that, I would definitely do that, and I have done that while with the Facebook live streams for Startup Network. and there have been like, it gives you good feedbacks about how to structure your pitch and what to say and what things that what there are certain things which investors want to hear in the pitch, and gives you pointers like that. So it's always good to see what other companies are pitching.
Thank you. And Abrar, how do you think should be there like more similar events, pitching events for the startups where they can more often show their product, their MVP, for example, to present their startup to investors?
Yeah, definitely. But they should be, like I said earlier, they should be more focused on the industries. Like if it's for healthcare, they should be like focused on healthcare, and the judges should be from the healthcare industry. Fintech judges, AI people who have worked in the AI have AI centered approaches and concerns, and all that. Plus, at the same time, if it's for startups, they should be like, they should have MVPs. Like minimum requirement should be they should have an MVP ready, or they should be ready to go to market. And the top level cap should be something like, they should not have raised more than, I don't know, 250K, or they should not have a revenue more than 100K or 1 million a year annual, something like that. So that will give them sort of like a piece of the startups which are actually uh, in that criteria, which defines what the startup is. So that would be like a good opportunity to look into.
Oh, thank you, Abrar, for your feedback, because it's really important as far as we are preparing ourselves now for the Unicorn Cup finals. Once again, congrats to your previous actually gains, because still you got the first prize, first of all, the first place, and then you got into the finals. Like not very many startups do that. So congrats in this case. And
Well,
thank,
thank you, Maria. Thank you so
and
much.
thank, and thank you so much for your feedback.
My pleasure.